Warm welcome to this new method of innovation by the School of Journalism and New Media Studies. In the information revolution, we are bombarded with many more information around the clock. So this is may not be the right time, but this is the right effort needs to be taken to empower and create awareness among many of our colleagues, friends, and others about the media, about the information. So that's one of the reasons why the School of Journalism and New Media Studies have initiated the lecture series on media and information literacy. Every fortnight, the school will conduct this lecture series on second Thursday and fourth Thursday. It's a very important initiative from the school in order to promote the media information literacy. The school is working on this topic for the last 10 years and initiated a lot of MOOC courses and introduced a standalone program and courses within the academic circuit. So this series definitely helps the school, helps the students as well as the general public. So welcome to this initiative. In the common life, in the routine life, day-to-day life, we are connected with the media. We are connected with the human beings, other human beings through via different media system. And with the invent of mobile and our intimate relationship with the media and communication system become more stronger. Not necessarily information exchange, but also for various applications. The integrated approach of normal routine life with the technology becomes so complicated. Now we might lose a consciousness about what is coming in, what is going out. So we have to be a little more careful. Particularly, we have to be more critical towards the media and information. When we say media and information, it includes many things, starting with the newspaper, radio, film, television, OTT, mobile, social media, online. You can include all the platforms, either mainstream media or online media through which we receive the information or exchange information. So all together we can classify as a media and information. Many of them operated by the institutions, and with the technology allows us to be participate in the social media platform. So it's individual and institution collaboratively engaged with a lot of media content creation. We are consuming, we are participating, we are exchanging. We have to be more critical in that process. That is the core aim of this lecture series. We will take into the individual topic more relevant in today's area that will be discussed in the coming weeks. Let us go to today's topic. It talks about understanding media. It's a very, very fundamental concept of dealing with the media and communication. And I said we had to be more critical about the media system. While reading a newspaper or watching a movie or listening to the social media reels and short videos, we had to be a little conscious, and we had to ask many questions. The screen you can see some of the basic questions. For example, while watching a movie or reading editorial, we had to a little more conscious about who created this message and what techniques are used to attract attention. What lifestyles, values and point of views are represented or omitted. Who benefits from this message? How might different people interpret this message? Ask these questions. These are very fundamental questions. Many times while watching a movie, we used to so involved with the character and narration, and we may not able to track this kind of behind the scene manipulations, strategies and methodologies to attract our attention. The basic business of media is to keep our attention for a longer period of time. For that, there are many ways of approaches being adopted. I'll show you some more questions. And this will be interested for you to understand the media and information system. What sources were used to create this content, the news content basically, and what emotions does this message try to evoke? A serial, advertisements, or any other content, or audio video content. Does this message reflect reality or manipulate perceptions? Very, very difficult to understand this kind of questions while enjoying the movie, but we had to do that. Same time, we had to read the news also in a similar manner. How does media ownership affect the message? How do commercial interests influence content? These are questions. If you ask, these are not limited questions, you can ask many more. Basically, the media literacy expects the individual to ask more questions, critical questions. So that's why I showed some of the basic questions. This you can easily engage with any media content. One particular TV channel promoting particular content, you can ask questions. How does this media ownership affect that particular message? You can just simply relate that, whether the owner and the message is in a linkage. If you try to find the linkage, you'll find a different understanding. You'll find a different information. You might find a different dimension of the message or news. So that is the core crux of media literacy. So we will understand the media literacy over the period of time, but today we'll confine to understand the media and communication from the perspective of media and information literacy. Let's understand the basic concept of media, the functions of media, actually what they're doing. We are reading newspaper, we are watching a movie, radio, engaged with the radio and the social media, mobile, many things. But they have their own duties, they have responsibilities, and they are doing some functions. Though it's business operated, they're doing business in terms of profit making and all. But primarily, they are into information dissemination, entertainment, and education. But beyond that, they are into persuasion, they are into surveillance, they are into cultural transmission. So information dissemination is happening, but at the same time, misinformation also happening. Entertainment is a core theme of audiovisual industry, but at the same time, they reinforces existing stereotypes. There are many more definitions of stereotypes. Easily can connect with that. And persuasion is the hallmark of advertisements, political campaigns, and propaganda techniques. They are targeting towards our attention, our opinion that matters in a purchase or voting. So similarly, surveillance and cultural transmission. So these are the functionality of media. They are not just delivering information or entertainment. They are doing a lot of work. A lot of things are happening. They are very powerful. So all the powerful institutions, they want to use the media for their own benefit. So some of the benefits are directly linked with the powerful institutions. And similarly, other than information and entertainment, they used to set the agenda for the society. Which issue are important, and what public priority needs to be given, what needs to be discussed. So media always sets the agenda for the society. They influences social norms and values, and they'll present the particular incident in a particular perspective framing. So they may not be able to cover all the angles. The particular perspective they'll give, and who will decide the perspective? The information provider will decide the perspective, and they'll filter out a lot of information. They'll pass it on, certain information, gatekeeping part, and they are more into commercial enterprise. They influences content based on financial interest. So if you look at that, all the functionality, it's a persuasion, propaganda, cultural information, and surveillance, agenda setting, and framing, gatekeeping, and business interest. All this, the combination, is a deadly combination. And it's casually we are doing, but if you look into that process, so complex, and we are spending a lot of our time in a recent study indicating that out of 24 hours, in an average, youngsters spend close to 6 hours, average I'm saying, 6 hours with the media and communication, whereas they spend 2 hours with the family. and less than 1 hour for education. So how much time we are spending with the media? And media has a lot of functionality other than information, entertainment, education. They have a lot of other things because powerful institution. This kind of positive and negative functionality, we have to be very careful while dealing with them. So that's called media literacy. And let's move on to the current scenario. What actually happening with the media and communication industry? And we have currently print and radio, television, along with the digital media, web, social media, and AI-based news content. And now, earlier we used to have passive consumption. Somebody from the channel or some newspaper delivers information, we always receive that. Now we move to the social media, user-generated content. We are creating more content, reels and short films. And digital divide and unequal access to information. The social inequality, which is rampant in Indian context, and it's being translated into online, that's become digital inequality. It's not a technical issue, but a social problem. So that's a serious concern about the contemporary media scenario while discussing about that. And there is a lot of convergence of culture, blending of media platforms. The newspaper became online newspaper, televisions, OTT, and radios become podcast. So much of integration of technology with the content creations, and we don't need a separate gadgets to consume all this content. One mobile is sufficient to read everything, to watch everything. So that is kind of convergence culture is currently going on there. And mobile technology and it's become more influential in terms of penetration. If you look at close to 95% of the Indian populations are connected to the mobile. Whereas internet connectivity, even 2024 data indicates a 75%. And even in that internet connectivity, rural, urban, gender, economic, educational, income level, so there is a lot of huge variation. That's what we call as digital inequality also. That affects the way we are accessing content. So this is a scenario currently we are living in the present media situation thing. And in that evolved into another scenario. We are no longer with a professional journalism field. We have the very strong citizen journalism. Public participation in news reporting become more evolving in a very tremendous level. And print media is declining. They are shifting towards digital subscriptions. Print copies are going down. We are almost saturated in that level. And perhaps we can say negative growth is going on that. And streaming services. And a lot of broadcasting models are evolving to capture the market. And AI, artificial intelligence, that's going to change the way we are going to interact with the media in the coming years. Already there are a lot of changes are happening, and it's coming years, it might be give many more surprises in the coming years. And that whole process, the speed and versus accuracy, if you talk about that, ethics become a scapegoat. So all these the scenarios, if you look at that, it may not look like that media is not that simple process. It's very complicated. It has its own functionality. It's going through a lot of transformation due to technology. So we have, as a common user, end user of the media, we have to be aware about all these transitions and functionality. So that is the core theme of media literacy on that. And before moving on to the other aspects, let us understand what are the basic characteristics of individual media. Each medium has its own characteristics. For example, if you take the print media, it's more credible because it's mostly into the information provider. So more credible and a lot of credibility attached with the newspapers. But now they're literally struggling because of the digital shift. Broadcast, basically, it's a very strong agenda setting power. It played a major role in transition of governments and even social orders in many developing countries. Broadcast media also is almost saturated because of technological transformation. And digital media, that's the current revolutions going on. And all the other platform, radio, television, print and all, they are showing either saturation or negative growth. Digital media is the only platform showing double-digit growth the last 8 years, and it's going to happen for another couple of decades. And social media, that's the one big area in which the huge participation of common people are involved. That's because of the citizen journalism also happening through social media. Same way, individuals have not much restriction and no monitoring, no gatekeeping. So informations are going without filtration. It leads to the lot of misinformation and malinformation and other issues. And hybrid media, integration of traditional and digital media, that brings the convergence culture. So if you look at that, each medium, it has its own unique characteristics. Now everything is mixing, everything merging, and we are getting everything in a mixed manner through one platform, majorly in one platform. So that is the challenge for the end users like us, the media users, to tackle those situations in a very meaningful manner. So end of the day, that gives more benefits to us rather than damaging our own system. And a couple of issues needs to be discussed a little elaborate. One is the rampant expansion of social media. The expansion of social media, it's a lot of benefits came, and the communication system is a powerful. I told you the couple of times in the whole the 10 minutes time. Powerful in terms of changing the opinion and manipulating the opinion, or changing the order, changing the social system, cultural values. Many things that can happen there. That's why the government or other social institutions always put a lot of control over the media system. Censorship, license, approval, uplinking, downlinking, rules, regulations, Information Technology Act. If you look at that, a lot of restriction for operating media system. Whereas the social media and give a platform for individuals, you don't need to have a vast setup of running a studios or newsroom or production houses and all. With your mobile, with your data plan, with your social media account, you can run a podcast, you can run a radio channel, you can run a television streaming, video streaming, and you can share the breaking news continuously, and your audience are not confined to your city, not with your country, but across the globe. Whoever connected to the internet, they have the potential to reach out to you, or you have the potential to reach out to the large number of audience. So this is the scenario in which we have the issues we are facing there. Misinformation and fake news. And it has its own classification like disinformation, misinformation, malinformation. Particularly all this classification deals with how you're dealing with the truth. The actual real information, how you're dealing. Whether you're distorting without harm, distorting for the beneficial, for character assassination, or harming somebody, or harming the institutions, or twisting the truth. So this all happens for a certain kind of self-interest and motivated plan and strategy and all. So it could be happening individual level, or it could be happening in a coordinated manner. So this is the one serious issue. Many times we tend to believe that the information what is being twisted, we tend to believe that it's true, and it might affect our decisions. It might affect our knowledge. It might affect our activities. So this is a little problematic area. And normally they'll use many methods. A lot of technology provides all the opportunities for the positive benefit or negative benefit. And we can find plenty of examples in the global as well as Indian context, particularly health-related information. And we have seen a lot in the recent past about the pandemic and the other issues and all. And it has its own psychological effect. I'm not talking about social media evolution. Evolution is okay. Social media growth is okay. But the information, what we are consuming, is it right or wrong? That divisions, we have to be more careful about that. And fake news, particularly, is being used extensively for two important aspects. One is for political manipulation or economic manipulation. For the benefit of the public opinion, because all the powerful institutions want favorable public opinion. And the corporates and business interested group always wants to have more profit. So it's the social media playing a very important platform for this kind of manipulations, propaganda, persuasions are part of the strategies adapted by these people to reach out to the large number of people for either political gain or economic gain. So this is a major concern. This has to be addressed in a very meaningful manner. Similarly, there is one more issue that I highlighted in the earlier slides about algorithms and digital media. Particularly, you might have heard about artificial intelligence, generative text and all. And one way is good. One way, if you want to brainstorm certain ideas, you don't have to run around multiple documents, different search engines. Rather, you can give some prompt questions. It gives beautiful answers. It summarizes many things, and it reduces your time to understand the certain concepts, complex ideas and all. It's good. But remember that artificial intelligence doesn't create the content on its own. It has the capacity to accumulate all the information already available in the online. Already available online, based on which it's generating content. And who are the people creating content? And I told you earlier also, we have issues with the internet access. Digital inequality, 94% of mobile penetration is there, but internet penetration also limited. We have the issues of rural-urban divide and gender gap and income gap. All these social issues affects our internet access, the digital inequality. We are talking about that. So it restricts our participation and our contribution to the internet about our society, about our people, about our celebrities might be limited. For example, when the internet was introduced in 20, 30 years back, English was the dominant language. 80%, 75% of the content used to be English only. It got reduced a couple of years back in a statistics international institutions, one of the institutions quoting that 54% of content belongs to English. If you look at the Indian level, Indian language's position online is very, very minimal, less than 1%. So think about that. Our information about ours, our society, country, institutions, everything very limited. And even if it is available, that is being generated by somebody else. So when you ask question in artificial intelligence, it gives information which is generated on outside. Could be biased, could be stereotyped. This is a danger, because artificial intelligence doesn't mean that it's generating its own content. It's assembling content which is already available. Mostly what? Because it's the artificial intelligence largely depending on information available free of cost. Social media, Wikipedia kind of content, or where the social algorithm and the Google algorithm or internet algorithm can reach out to the large content which is available, which is Creative Commons, which is free from copyrights. So that's accumulation knowledge already generated by various kind of people. So it could be it's one-sided, could be biased, could be stereotyped. So this is one biggest danger. Second important point is, and the algorithm of corporates who runs internet companies, and they track your internet interest. They create a profile of that. Once you start putting some keywords and searching something, it adds to your profile. Then henceforth, all your browsing behavior, activities, reels and short films confined to that keywords. Personalization based on your interest is being done automatically behind the scene by the algorithms, whether you like it or not, because we may not be having the same interest continuously for 1 week or 2 weeks or a couple of months. This is a drawback. This we call as a filter bubbles effect. And echo chambers, this reinforces existing beliefs. The male-dominated newsroom, if this is the case, largely in Indian context, and news tend to give more priority to the male politicians, male powerful institutions. So automatically the algorithm reinforces the same thing. I told you that, which is available online, is being reproduced through generative text and all. And what is the solution for that? Solution is critical media consumption. So that's the focus of this web series. This lecture series. And we're talking about media consumption and diversifying information sources and understanding the media literacy very critically. So that is one of the area. So Another important aspect of media system, one we discussed about misinformation, fake news. Another one is algorithm and digital media literacy. Third, another important aspect of the media system that is little more concerned for the today's scenario and critically needs to be understood clearly. One is the representation and biasness. The media portrayal of gender, caste, religion, marginalized groups in India needs a serious introspection. Could be one-sided, could be not equal, and could be favorable to certain particular group, may not be giving adequate space for other groups. So it's not this scenario is not confined to India; it's globally happening. But since this is we're talking about in Indian context, that needs a little more scrutiny of these cases and all. What I'm saying is for example, you take the marginalized section. For example, if you take the rural population, and the media, if you look at the media behavior, they are confined to the urban area. And their target group is those having a good purchasing capacity. So the media always targets those people because that they can sell that audience profile to the corporates. So this is a business plan. And in that entire strategy, the marginalized group, particularly the rural people, they may not come into it because one, they are not the target group and they don't have purchase power, and they may not give much benefit to the media. So if you look at the media content of that particular national newspaper, you look at the strategy, what kind of news reporting is happening, always you can see the very, very minimal level of content space is being devoted to those kind of people. It's a partiality. Similarly, gender, you can say. Similarly, caste. You can find all this in social institutions and representation in the media system, not necessarily a newspaper. All the media system, there's a serious issue concerned with that. So you have to ask questions about that, why they are doing and what can be done on that. And another important concern is ownership and influence. The corporate control over narratives, that's the biggest serious concern for us. And the more monopoly, and that leads to the reduction of diversity. Very few people are handling the media system. Automatically that allows a very few opportunities, diversity, and few availability of diverse content. So this is a problematic, dangerous scenario in the public communication platform. And political bias is quite rampant in the newspaper. It's very generic. Objectivity, 100% objectivity is a problematic one, may not be able to achieve that. But how far we are close to objectivity, that is very crucial. That's what the media news industry is operating. So that's their duty and their business plan, they are doing that. But as a media consumer, as a news reader, we have to be more careful about what kind of biasness existing in the news, because we can't change the system, but we can change the way we are consuming the media content. That can be done. And similarly, the diversity in the newsroom, underrepresentation of minorities in entertainment content, impact of media bias on public perception and media stereotypes. These are all serious concerns, and the common people needs to understand all this behind the scenes strategies of media operations. Let me conclude this lecture with some of suggestive practical activities. Activities can be carried out. One is you can deconstruct the news articles in terms of understanding the bias and framing, and you can compare the news coverage of different outlets, different media companies, India or international or within the Indian national or regional, about their same event. You can fact check some news stories, how algorithms playing with your browsing behavior, and you can do certain kind of campaign within your network, within your family, within the neighborhood. So these are the things you can carry out on your own to understand the media in a very effective manner. So in conclusion, we can say that media literacy is essential for informed citizenship. Critical thinking is a very key for navigating the media landscape, and always question, cross-check, and engage responsibly. Thank you.